The Chaunce Hayden Show is sponsored by Hover.com. Domain names made simple. Go to gfq.hover.com and get 10% off your entire purchase. And by Stitcher Radio. Listen on the go via the Stitcher mobile app. For more information, go to stitcher.com/GFQ. Location provided by Sapphire New York. Visit them at nysapphire.com.
You think you have me all down, you think you have me, I will always be one step ahead.
Don't hurt me, for real. Ah! Ah! Look at her teeth! No, she has fangs! I'm not even kidding! Ah! 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 Oh God! Oh God! Oh my God! Are you insane?
He wanted to get bit.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Chaunce Hayden Show, broadcasting live from the Sapphire Gentlemen's Club in New York City, the world's greatest gentlemen's club. Of course, you can hear us on the GFQ network, metropolisnights.com, and millions of other places.
Millions.
Literally millions and millions of places all over the world. That's how big this show is. We have over 500,000 viewers. It's absolutely amazing. We are probably the #1 best show on the internet when it comes to web TV. Whatever.
It's on the best network, but I gotta tell you, I'm not sure if you're #1 on the network.
You know something?
I'm just saying. Hey, I'm reading Metropolis Nights.
You are.
So, you know.
Do you like it?
I love it.
Metropolis Nights is the magazine that I am the editor-in-chief of.
Yes.
Since leaving the Penny Saver. Anyway, so let's not get off track. Tonight we have a great show. We have
Alan Winters.
Yes!
I'm so excited.
Alan Winters.
Yes, I am.
Who, it's a little debatable. Some people are saying yes in the room. Some people are saying no. That he is the creator of the UFC. That he actually created the UFC. Now it says in his bio that he did. I'm assuming that's true. We're going to ask him when he comes in. He has a new sport. It's called the roughest, bloodiest, deadliest sport in just 3 minutes. It's called XARM.
Yeah, I watched the video of it. I'm not okay.
You're not okay in what regard?
I'm just not okay.
You're not okay with the whole thing.
Like listen, I think that they should go ahead and do it. I'm not okay after watching it.
Well, let me explain what people do. They actually have two. They look like arm wrestlers, but they're also UFC fighters. Right. They're both, and they tie them together by their arms, and then they arm wrestle. And that arm wrestle then turns into a full-on kick punch fight.
I'm not sure if they tie them.
They're tied. They can't separate.
Duct tape. They duct tape.
They duct tape. Yeah, they duct tape.
They can't separate themselves from each other.
Right. So let's show what they do. Okay. So
like this.
I don't actually want to touch your hand, but
because my rash is back. All right, my rash is back.
Chaunce's rash is back.
All right, go ahead.
We're not over it. So when you start, you see them like arm wrestle for like 3 seconds, and then all of a sudden like a leg comes up.
No, but you're missing a point. Their other hands are tied together. So we'd be wrestling like this. We'd be tied like this. We can't separate.
Yeah.
We're tied. So when we wrestle, when one person wins the wrestling match, then I take my foot and I fly it into your face and I kick you in the face.
Yeah.
And then you punch me with the other hand.
Right. It's all crazy.
And it takes it goes down in 3 minutes. So it's fast.
Yeah, all of it.
But in those 3 minutes, they beat the hell out of each other. And they've invested millions of dollars into this. It's called XARM.
Right.
And the guy that invented it is going to come into the studio, providing somebody here at the club knows to bring him into
This is
the room where he should come.
What time is he supposed to be in?
I don't know.
About 15 minutes
ago?
ago?
Like 15 minutes ago.
With the storm that's going on in New York right now,
we're having a terrible storm.
We'll be lucky if they make it.
Having a terrible storm. I would love to be killed by lightning. It's the way to go. I was driving in, and lightning strikes were literally suspended in. You know how you see a quick lightning strike?
Yes.
And it's like a fraction of a second? You could actually sit there and look at it for about 10 seconds. It was just frozen.
Like
the jagged white,
jagged.
just frozen there, like as if it was a drawing. It was the most amazing thing.
That probably means that it was hitting someone.
Yeah, it probably struck something.
Right.
What a way to go.
It's probably
you never know
death
what
you were
happened.
watching.
You would never feel anything.
No, but some people live from it. That's the problem. There are many people that live. Powder, isn't that his story? He got struck by lightning.
Was that Powder's problem?
I don't know.
Was that Powder? The movie Powder. The
Was that
bald,
Powder's
pale
problem?
kid that looks like me.
I thought that's what happened.
Were you struck by lightning when you were a kid?
No, I was struck by my father. It's a whole nother show. But before he comes in, we got to talk about one thing in the news, which is Kate Major.
Yes.
Do you know who Kate Major is? If you don't know who Kate Major is, you're going to know because she's all over the tabloids. She's the woman that was a writer for Star Magazine. She was the senior writer for Star Magazine. Then she started dating John Gosselin from John and Kate Plus 8. She did a story on him and then hooked up with him. And then they became a couple. And then he beat the hell out of her. And then she went into, oblivion, became nuts.
I mean, before that, who was she dating? Because she's always been
she was
a known
Lindsay,
name.
No, she was Lindsay Lohan's personal assistant.
Kate Majors.
Kate Major was. Before she worked at Star Magazine. And this is where I come in. Because when she was working at Star Magazine, she did a story on me about a movie I did, or a screenplay I did, I should say, on this place where we are right now.
Oh, exactly. I
wrote a screenplay about Scores, which this used to be the club, but now it's called Sapphire. This was Scores. So I used to have a gossip column here when it was Scores, called Ion Scores, for a couple of years. And I took all my experiences from those years, and I wrote a screenplay. So she writes in Star Magazine this 2-page feature story about my screenplay. The next day, she calls me up at home and says, "Can we meet for a drink? I want to talk to you about sharing contacts." So I thought she wanted me to tell her like some of the publicists and celebrities who I knew, and she was going to give me some good celebrity names and publicists so we could help each other out getting stories. Or maybe even I might even work for Star Magazine, maybe be a freelancer, make some extra cash. So I'm like, hell yeah, let's meet. So we meet at the Thompson Hotel in Soho, New York.
Great place.
Great place.
Gorgeous.
Yeah, it's beautiful. We sit at the bar, okay? We have about 20 drinks. We're drinking.
Between the two of you, or you each have 20 drinks?
I think about 20 drinks each.
Jesus.
No, we drank a lot. We're drinking. Talking about Lindsay Lohan, her days as her personal assistant, how she got the job at Star. We're talking about all the celebrity stories, my celebrity stories. We're having a great time. Really a fun, great time. About 3 hours into the night, she tells me, "So when are we going to discuss contacts?" And I'm like, "I thought we've been discussing contacts for the last 3 hours." She goes, "No, you don't know what I mean. I'm talking about contacts." And I'm like, "I thought we were discussing contact lenses."
What kind of contacts?
Like I touch you, you touch me. I contacted you, you contact me. Contact. So she leans over and she whispers in my ear, "I get paid for sex." And she said, "I want to know."
Oh my God.
She goes, "You know everybody in New York. Do you have people you can give me that are contacts that I can trust that will pay me for sex?" And I almost peed my pants. This is the senior writer at Star Magazine.
Wow.
So I go, "Hold on, I have to go to the bathroom." And I remember running to the bathroom, locking the door and going, "Wah!" He knows what's happening. Like I was freaking out in the bathroom, punching the doors.
Did you tell anybody?
Oh, I texted about 50 people in the bathroom. I'm like, "Oh my God, you're not gonna believe this. Oh my God, you're not gonna believe this. Oh my God, you're not gonna believe this."
So did anybody ever run that story?
So yeah, of course. So here's what. So I go back to the bar, and I'm like, "Are you fucking with me, or you're dead serious?" She goes, "No." She goes, "It's common." She goes, "In LA, all my friends do it. Everyone does it." She goes, "I get $1,200 to have sex." She goes, "Sometimes I get more." She said, "And I don't know anything about New York, and I just need like 5 good contacts to keep the money coming in." And I said, "Well, I said I don't even know what to say." I said, "I don't know anybody that is looking for a prostitute." I said, "But I do know the New York madam, Kristen Davis, who I will put you in touch with, and maybe she can get you contacts." So I did. So Kristen Davis, the New York madam who brought down Elliot Spitzer, and she eventually ran for governor of New York, she hooks up with her and starts sharing, going over pricing and people that she needs to see. Yeah.
That's so excellent.
Is that the greatest story ever? So now she's pregnant with Michael Lohan's baby. So she's a prostitute. Oh, right. And I mean,
do you think he was a client?
I wouldn't be surprised at one point if he paid her for sex. I don't know, but I wouldn't be surprised. Oh, so this is how the night ends. So I take her home, right? I drive her back to her apartment in Manhattan. As she's getting out of the car, she leans over and she kisses me. And we make out for a little bit, like we're making out.
Did she charge you?
As we get done making out, and she goes, "That's going to be $20." And then she goes, I'm only kidding.
Oh my God.
And she gets out of the car, and that was
her. You know what that was? I was like, okay, give me $500 and I'll bang you.
Yeah.
Oh, if I had $500, I could have done anything I wanted. But is that true? Is that how often does that go on with girls that you would never believe?
Oh, more than people think.
Really?
I think that happens a lot more.
Do you think girls that you would never believe in a million years are working as hookers? Like,
I think more women have taken money for sex than people think.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, she denied it in the press, but we had the emails of her going back and forth with Kristen Davis that killed that whole story. Then she ended up telling. We had actually had Michael Lohan on the show like a year and a half ago before you guys were involved in the show, and Michael Lohan came on to officially apologize to me.
For what reason?
Because Kate Major told Michael Lohan that I raped her in New Orleans, and he tweeted it all over the place.
And you didn't sue?
I should have sued him, right? He tweeted that I was a rapist and that I raped Kate Major in New Orleans. So
why wouldn't you?
I've never been to New Orleans in my life. I've never been there.
So why didn't she press charges if that was the case?
And why didn't you sue?
I should have sued, right?
You should have sued.
Yeah.
Not
So
that he has much, but still.
He came on my show to apologize to me and say he was sorry. And listen,
That's not
it was such a wacky story.
No, it's not enough.
I should have sued him, right? And should have sued her. So he came on the show to apologize, and then now here he is impregnating her. So who's more fucked up, Michael Lohan or Kate Major?
Kate Major.
You think she's crazier than Michael Lohan? She's a hardcore alcoholic. Like I've seen alcoholics.
Alleged or
no.
documented?
Oh no. She's an alcoholic.
If she can say that he raped her,
she's been to rehab for alcoholism. It's documented. She went to rehab for alcoholism. Yeah. She's an alcoholic. And I'm telling you, I never saw somebody drink like this in my life. So
well, 20 drinks. That's a lot.
Hardcore drinker.
Jeez.
So that's my Kate Major story. It's a good one, right? Only here on the GFP network.
What an insane thing to go through. I think the rape allegation is much more of a big deal than anything else.
It didn't even bother me. It was so ludicrous and outrageous, and I've never been to New Orleans, that it was just so crazy.
I wish I knew you then, because I would have pushed you to fight.
To file a lawsuit.
Yes, 127% I would have. And then we would have been
rolling in the dough.
How are we involved in this? How do we get money from this?
Because I would have been the one that pushed him.
You would have been my agent.
And then he would have felt bad that I pushed him, and then he made so much money that he would have taken us all and this is all in my head.
You think they have money?
It doesn't matter.
You think Kate Majors has money?
She's a prostitute. She gets $1,200 a night. She's got money.
Crazy. So anyway, oh wait, this could be our guest.
You might want to check your guest.
Let's see. Nope, not my guest.
Oh.
It's odd that it's now 6:30. My guest hasn't come.
I have to tell you that ever since I've now touched your hand,
do you feel itchy?
My entire body feels itchy.
My rash is back. My rash is back.
I apparently temporarily went insane.
How'd it come back?
My doctor says it's stress. That's what my doctor's saying.
Is that Chauncey?
Yes, it is. Welcome to the show.
How you doing, man? Nice
should we take a break?
We should take a break.
All right, let's do this. Let's take a break. We'll come right back, and don't go anywhere. Right after this. We're back, and you're watching the Chaunce Hayden Show, broadcasting live from the Sapphire Gentlemen's Club in New York City, the world's greatest gentlemen's club. Of course, as promised, we have extremely excited to have you here, Alan Winters, who, now this is where we had some debate. I am saying that you are one of the creators of UFC.
No.
Please clarify, because we're having a big debate here in the studio.
I need to correct you. So I am partner with a guy, Art Davey.
Right.
We are the co-creators of XARM. Art Davie in 1993, with a piece of paper in hand, presented to investors the idea for something called the Ultimate Fighting Championship before it existed. So Art started the UFC, operated it, ran it, and was the promoter matchmaker for it for the first 5-6 years of the UFC. So he was the guy when Rudy Giuliani and John McCain were sending letters to the governors of 50 states, the 2 senators of 50 states saying, you should not allow this live event to take place in your states because it's human cockfighting. Art was the guy who took all those arrows and daggers.
Okay.
He then subsequently sold it to the Fertitta brothers, who operated today, and who have done by the way, they've done a fantastic job.
Were you with Art during that time?
No, I was not. No, I was in the TV business.
Okay, so
I was a producer. I ran sales for a company that sold Baywatch around the world.
Yeah.
So my background is largely entertainment.
TV. The one, tell me if you know this name, Bob Meyerowitz.
Bob Meyerowitz was one of Art's 2 partners in the original UFC.
The original. So Bob even goes back further than Art, I think.
Well, they go back.
Or at the same time.
Art brought Bob in.
Is that how? Is that the deal?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
But they were partnered in the early days of the UFC.
Gotcha. Okay.
And Bob had come out of radio.
Right. Bob Meyerowitz created the King Biscuit Flour Hour.
Exactly.
And then he got involved and like you said, back in the early days when they were looking for cages in like warehouses in the Midwest and in Canada and getting arrested and the whole thing.
Oh yeah, having a big show set up in Buffalo, New York,
right.
and having the plug pulled on it just before.
Right.
But the fascinating thing to think about is that Art Davie, out of whose head this came, because Art was a boxer in the Army. He was passionate about combat sports.
Right.
And had come up with this notion of how do you do this clash of different sorts of fighting styles. Wrestlers versus boxers versus kickboxers, mixed martial artists. And he had come here and decided, the true story is, and I'll give you the true story, he was an advertising executive. Tecate Beer was one of his accounts. And what Art was working on was a very edgy idea that was essentially the idea for the UFC. Tecate Beer said to him, that is way too rough. We would not do that. Mm-hmm. And Art, shortly thereafter, thought, I would do this, and just went out and did it. Raised the initial capital to do it. The UFC was a success right out of the box. The first pay-per-view events were hugely successful.
Made big money.
They made big money, but they came under huge political pressure.
Right.
The legal fees they were incurring were crazy. But here's where my partner Art Davie, and why I respect him so much, really should get a lot of the credit for what exists today, even though the Fertittas and Dana White took it many more steps to the next level. Art doesn't come up with this idea. Art doesn't weather the storm for those first half dozen years.
Right.
This thing never gets really off the ground. And the other thing is, name a sport in the last 50 years that was invented that didn't exist before.
Right.
This is the only one.
I think it buried boxing and it buried professional wrestling. I really do. I mean, those sports are not what they were ever since UFC became UFC that we know today.
UFC is the name brand now in the combat sports arena.
Right.
And we like it. We like the UFC.
But then, so now you join Art as a partner because he came to you with this other idea, new idea.
Yeah, well, I'll give you the story. It's a quickie story.
Tell me.
About 4 years ago, I had a client in Seattle, and we were developing entertainment concepts. We're walking on a February rainy day to the Fox Sports Grill, and I'm with one of my buddies, and we can't remember who started the conversation, but I think it was, I said to him, in an era of UFC, mixed martial arts, isn't arm wrestling kind of dumb? And he said to me, well, what if you could use your other hand? And I said back, this is all in a one block walk.
Punch the shit out of the guy in the face while you're
exactly. And I said, and what if you could kick him while you're arm wrestling?
Right.
We spent $200 and created a demo tape using...
And tied together, by the way.
Yeah, and connected here.
Connected.
Back then, it wasn't as formal. We didn't have rules and regulations. We didn't have a scoring system. All we were saying was, what if 2 guys, while they're arm wrestling, could punch each other in the head and could kick each other and could grapple at the table? So we produced a cheap tape.
Right.
$200 with 2 fighters.
Right.
And I brought it back to LA, and somebody said to me, I want you to sit with one of two people. One is Hulk Hogan. I said, I know Hulk. I've had dinner with him and his daughter. It's not the direction I want to go with this. He said, the other is Art Davie. I said, Art Davie, Mr. UFC. He said, Art Davie, I think, would find this really interesting. So Art and I sit together. I show him this quickie tape. He says, what do you want to do with this? I said, I think it's entertainment, but I also think it's a legitimate sport. And what he and I then conceived, and I give Art 95% of the credit, is a sport that was meant to be not a competitor to the UFC, but sort of in the family of combat sports along with the UFC.
Right.
And our basic proposition, which is expressed in our trademarked catchphrase for our business, is the roughest 3 minutes in sports.
Yeah.
And it's the roughest 3 minutes because in 3 minutes there's more action than you will see in anything.
So the round lasts for what, 3 minutes?
3 1-minute rounds.
Okay, but what is the purpose of arm wrestling? Are you actually trying to get the other guy's arm on?
Because you score when you register a legitimate pin.
So when can you start punching? Immediately?
Immediately. So if you and I are arm wrestling,
yes,
and you're putting me down, you're putting me down,
right,
but I go like this to you,
right,
it's gonna be hard for you to pin me.
Right.
If I'm pinning you, right, and you put an elbow to my face, right, or you kick me, or you get me in a headlock, right, guess what? It's going to be hard to compete. It turns out what sounds really brutal is actually a little more chess than checkers because it's complicated.
But is the whole point to win the round is that arm wrestling match? Is that the bottom line?
Here's how you win.
Okay.
If I pin you, I get points. If I pin you multiple times in a round, I get multiple points.
Okay, so
I can keep pinning you, but it's got to be a legitimate pin. We have a pin zone.
But once the fighting starts, that elbow, everything's off the table, isn't it? Once you start beating the hell out of somebody, you're no longer arm wrestling. It turns into something else.
You can still arm wrestle. You can still arm wrestle. And we've had people in a round where they're going at it, they're just swinging. It's mayhem, and one guy remembers. 1,000, 2 1,000, and score some serious points.
So they're still, like you say,
fully integrated.
Still trying to score points with the arm wrestling, but at the same time trying to
knock out your opponent. Exactly. So we have a really high ratio of knockouts.
Right.
Okay. A knockout in XARM results in a bizarre thing. Remember, in XARM, we're connected at our wrists. Right. We have a glove on and Velcro that holds us together. We can't come apart.
Right.
And we're hooked by 2 D rings to the table.
So you can't leave the table either. You can't go anywhere.
So there's nowhere to run, nowhere to hide.
I didn't know about the other attachment.
Now, a really good athlete, and we've had athletes as recently as a June event, get up on the table with both knees on the table and are pounding a guy. We've had guys do arm bars hanging backwards off the table.
Can a guy tap out?
And a guy can tap out. So the way you win is by submission, knockout, or judge's decision on points.
When you first brought this to Art, what was his first impression when he first saw it?
He liked it immediately. Because here's what he visualized. This was going to be something that was really going to be cool to watch on digital devices.
Right.
Cell phones, mobile phones. Tablets and iPads weren't a big thing. So we were talking about laptops and MacBooks and watching this on a smaller screen because I
see it as a video game. I see it literally as a video game.
And we have a video game. And our video game we have a video game in the market, and our new version of it is coming out in exactly 10 days at the beginning of August.
Okay, with the official launch comes out, the official launch of the video game.
The official launch of the video game is going to be roughly August 1st on iPhones and on Android phones.
Okay. Demographic, who are you reaching?
Young guys. It's young guys. It's guys roughly 13, I'd say 15 to 30. Now, if you're 40, you're welcome to watch us, but the core audience for XARM is a guy who's in high school or in their 20s.
Is this a novelty, or are we talking about an Olympic sport?
I don't think it's a novelty at all. I think it's a real sport. We've recruited, Chaunce, roughly 36 athletes over the last year. Those athletes are elite athletes.
What kind of athlete? Are you looking for arm wrestlers who can fight, or UFC fighters who can arm wrestle?
We're looking for a little of everything. So we've got champion college wrestlers, like real wrestlers who are highly trained, who won state championships. We've got guys who are trained as boxers. We've got a lot of guys who are trained in mixed martial arts. We've got the son of a world champion kickboxer who's an incredible striker and an incredible kickboxer. So we've got a really good mix. We've got girl fighters. One of our girl fighters is in the NFL, is in the ESPN lingerie league.
I can see. Does that take if you have hot girls doing this? I see that as immediately being marketable. To have stunning girls doing this, But then it takes some of the legitimacy out of it if we do that, right? You have to be careful.
Unless they're athletes. Unless they're real athletes. And these girls they're athletes. If you look at them, they're athletes. They could do track. They could do anything. They could be swimmers. They could be Olympic boxers. They're athletes. And it's great to watch.
Okay. So you got these athletes to come and do this. Now you have to teach them how to do it. So you mentioned earlier before we went on the air, you have a boot camp.
Yeah. So all our athletes go through initially a 4-day boot camp. The boot camp trains them in striking, grappling, and arm wrestling. So we have a coach for striking. He's an ex-UFC fighter. We have a coach for arm wrestling. He's an 8-time world champion in arm wrestling. His name is Cobra Rhodes out of Fort Wayne, Indiana. We fly him to the West Coast every month or two.
Do you know, not to interrupt, but do you remember Wide World of Sports?
I know where you're going to go.
Do you remember Jim McKay and how big arm wrestling was at one point? I don't know if you guys probably don't remember this. You don't see it anymore anywhere. But there was a time in the 70s where arm wrestling was on a Saturday afternoon on your TV, on national TV, on Channel 7. You'd watch arm wrestling championships. It was compelling.
Oh,
do you remember?
I watched that famous bout where I was sitting at home as a kid and they were arm wrestling, and you heard through your old TV a pop sound, and it was a guy with a major arm break during arm wrestling. Arm wrestling goes back before the 1970s. Actually, there's arm wrestling on the caves of ancient Egyptian walls. So it goes back several thousand years. The fun thing about arm wrestling is every guy and most girls at some point have said, hey, I'll arm wrestle you for that. So everybody's done arm wrestling once. You hear people on business panels saying, hey, I'll arm wrestle you over that.
There used to be, these guys were professionals. They did this for a living.
And there still are professional arm wrestlers.
You just don't, it just lost its marketability.
Doesn't have that visibility.
Right.
Doesn't have the visibility, but it's a very easy thing to do.
Until now.
Even if I don't know how to throw a jab, I can arm wrestle. Anybody can arm wrestle.
Right.
So we train all our fighters, and it's serious training. There is, I don't believe there's any sport.
Sorry about that. Go ahead.
It's a phone. I don't think there is any sport today where athletes are paid and we pay to conduct legitimate training in our fundamental skills of arm wrestling, striking, grappling, so that our fighters are really knowledgeable as to how to do this. We put them at the table. We have training tables. We then send them home with all sorts of instructions. We have rules and regulations. We make them learn them.
What kind of money can they earn? What kind of prize money are we talking about?
So we're talking about 5 figures is what we're talking about now. It's not huge money, but if they were doing local mixed martial arts exhibitions, we're paying way more than that.
So what do you think the chances are of this succeeding? You guys must have talked about it. You sit down, you have all this marketing plans, you have the video games, you're filming the boot camp, you have this footage, you have the athletes in place. What is the plan to make this success?
Okay, so I come out of the entertainment business. Nothing is guaranteed.
Right.
But here's why I think we have a really good chance, and a lot of it comes down to what do you create with what you've got, and how do people access it? How do they get it? In our case, like you said, we have a game, and the game's a cool game called XARM, Extreme Arm Wrestling.
Okay.
We have a TV series which will premiere on Machinima Prime in about 2 weeks at the very beginning of August.
I can't say that word. Say that again, because I can't say it.
It's not Mashugana. It's Machinima. And Machinima may be the best kept secret that I know of, because lots of people haven't heard of Machinima, but Machinima is watched by 159 million unique people a month. Their videos are streamed 1.7 billion times every month.
Wow. So this is an online...
It's an online company that's now spinning off a primetime entertainment network called Machinima Prime.
Okay.
They, in addition to XARM, they have some really marquee product going through there, including a live-action version of the video game Halo. So we're going to be running through there. We're delivering to them a huge battery of episodes starting on or about August 1st. It's events with real fights. It's behind the scenes video, and I was sharing with you just before we went on air, our behind the scenes are interesting because, hey, in sports you see the guys in the locker room before the event, you see the guys afterwards, how you feeling? It was good. But here's what we're doing. We're showing what really happens. We're showing a fighter who was really unhappy with his fight results, who sends threatening text messages to me, sends threatening text messages to Art, gets me on the phone and says, okay, Winters, I'm going to put a video on YouTube and I'm going to crucify you guys. And I said, here's my only question. When are you going to do it so I can promote it? I said, if that's how you feel, I'm okay with that. And if you don't want to do that, let's schedule a rematch with the guy who beat you that you don't think beat you.
Right.
And he chose the second. We're showing stuff like behind the scenes. We have a female fighter who has legitimately, not reality TV, but has legitimately been asking Art Davie out on dates. And we asked her, since you've been doing that on the phone, would you do that on camera? She said, well, it's true. I would like to go on a date with him.
Is she hot?
She's cute. She's cute.
Is he hot? I don't know what he
looks like. For a guy
I'm trying to put it all together in my head.
What are you interested in him?
No, I'm interested in her. I'm just, for my own porn mind, I'm trying to put them together, and I'm trying to get a visual of what Art looks like for my own head.
Art is a mature man.
He's an older man.
He is.
So this would be a freaky relationship.
It would be freaky. In fact, he's told her, I'm not sure that is something that makes any sense for any of us. And she didn't actually accept that answer.
Okay.
So we're showing that. We're showing the drama of what is it like when a fighter says, I don't want to fight that guy. He may kill me.
Right.
What's it like in the room when you have to then talk to him and convince him to do it? What do you have to say to convince him?
So you've had guys that don't want to go out there and do it because they're afraid at a certain point.
Potentially a particular fight. And
Really?
we've had other guys who've said, I want to fight so-and-so. And we've said, he may kill you. I want to fight him because I'll make a name for myself if I fight him. So we're showing everything. We're showing everything. Art and I made an agreement that most reality TV, since I've done a lot of it as a producer, most reality TV is not real. It is not real. It's orchestrated. It's not authentic.
Right.
It's pushed by producers. In our case, what we're saying is, whatever really happens, good, bad, or indifferent, even if it makes us look bad, the audience will respect the fact that we showed it.
No, because it's real.
Because it's real. And we've told her, and Chaunce, it's really interesting, we send our fighters home with home video cameras, and we've told them to film themselves. We had one fighter who filmed himself on his way to his paternity test, talking about it while he was driving. And on the way home telling us, I'm the dad, she's the baby mama, and it's my baby. We want to show this stuff.
So you get to really know the inside lives of the fighters, you know, I mean, really get a look into their personal lives.
And that's
so
what's
you know that
this.
as well as the competition. It's all part. Exactly. It's all under the same umbrella.
Exactly.
When is the first match that we can see?
First match you'll see is going to be about August 2nd.
So coming
August
up.
1st or 2nd, very soon.
2 more weeks, a little less than 2 weeks. We're going to see the first fight.
Correct. You'll see the first 2 or 3 fights.
And do you want to give the URL where people can go and watch it?
Okay. Where they're going to watch this is Machinima Prime. I don't have the exact URL. We'll give that to you. But through YouTube, Machinima is the #1 content supplier on YouTube. Anybody who looks up Machinima and XARM, and actually you can today go to YouTube, look up Machinima and XARM, and subscribe so you will get notifications when we launch new episodes.
Okay.
Just click subscribe.
And maybe the next Olympics will see this as a gold medal competition.
Maybe, probably not.
And we'll see. No, you have to add something more to it. You have to make it so the loser gets killed or something. So we actually shoot in the head the person that loses the match.
Somebody
literally sends it with a gun. Whoever loses the match, we shoot them.
Okay, so that's like XARM on steroids?
On steroids, yeah. We go one level more.
So you've been in the sports business a lot with a comment like that.
Yes, absolutely.
I can tell you have.
I've been doing this a long time. Stick with me.
It's great. You'll take us to a new level.
A whole new level.
Yeah. I'll call Art and tell him I should have never have shown up for that show.
All right. Hey, Alan, thank you so much for coming in. I wish you guys luck with this. It sounds interesting. I can't wait to see how it pans out. You know, you guys seem to have it all figured out.
I think we do.
You got good people in your camp. We'll see.
Thanks so much.
All right.
Appreciate
Thanks so much.
Thank you, Chauncey.
All right, everybody. Take care, and we'll see you next.